Applied the agenda on the screen for all of us to be able to see it. Is the committee researcher here? If the committee researcher.
She is here, Chair. She was struggling, being kicked in and out, but she is at the meeting, Chair.
Oh, okay. Okay, can Flutter agenda system?
Okay, Chair, when you fly it, can I just remove it and fly it again? I don't know what's the problem, but it's sharing. Maybe there's something wrong with my laptop.
We can see it.
I'm not sure whether the problem is with me or Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Chair.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, fine.
Are you able to see it?
Actually, I won't use the one online, but I'll use the one that I have. I've got a program in front of me. The one that you have sent me, Tabila, I'll use that one. We are now supposed to do the assessment of the effectiveness of safety kiosk and mobile police stations in reducing crime. We have invited the Department of Community Safety, both the MEC and the senior management team at the department to join us in this meeting. We've also invited our stakeholders from different areas. We have invited the provincial CPF to join us, and other stakeholders will mention or name them later in the meeting. The same team that we have invited to this meeting is the team that will join us when we look at or get a presentation from SAPS on crime stats. This meeting, MEC and members, is influenced by the oversight visits that we had in different police stations or different precincts to look at how effective is the deployment of kiosk as well as the mobile police stations in different areas in terms of reducing crime. We now have a report that is almost ready, that is waiting for this particular engagement, that indicates our observation as a committee, but also our interaction with those that are on the ground who are beneficiaries in terms of getting service delivery from such activity. We've called this meeting to engage with those stakeholders and hear from them on our findings, but also further get some inputs from them as our important stakeholders. That is the reason for us to have this meeting, and it's not going to be a very long meeting. It's a meeting that what I've done, I've already dealt with the welcome and introduction, and as well as the purpose of the session. And then we'll then get presentation on the functionality of safety kiosk in crime reduction. And it will be the Department of Community Safety that does that presentation. Then we'll also look at the impact of safety kiosk and mobile police stations in crime reduction, and we'll get the presentation from SAPS. Well, then that presentation will be on the Gauteng 2020-21 second quarter crime statistic reports, which will be done by SAPS. Then the board will respond. We'll also get the inputs from stakeholders. We'll have discussions and questions there, and then we'll have way forward by myself, and then thereafter closure. So it's not a very long meeting. In terms of the three presentations, Department of Community Safety have never failed us in terms of making a meaningful summary of their presentation. They'll actually summarize what they present, but they'll never compromise quality of the report. And we will allow them to make that presentation. Can I then request SAPS, when presenting on the two items, the impact of safety kiosk and mobile police stations in crime reduction in Gauteng, let's also try and summarize what we want to make an input, avoid repetition, because in the previous engagements, you'll find one person will present, another one will present, the third one will present, and there will be similarities on all presentations. We appreciate and welcome presentations because that assist us in getting information and for us to be able to assess whether or not there's proper service delivery to our people. But at the same time, let's avoid duplication in terms of presentations, because we also don't want to exhaust you when engaging with this committee. So again, I'll request that we try and present on pertinent issues, try to summarize, let's not use quality in terms of presentation. So with those words, I want to welcome everyone, MEC, senior management team from community safety, senior leadership from SAPS, honorable members, honorable staff members, and honorable, not honorable, but as well as our important stakeholders who are here, the board, the provincial board, CPFs from different clusters, as well as CPFs from different stations. You are all welcome, and thank you very much for joining in this meeting. We'll then move to the presentation by the Department of Community Safety on functionality of safety kiosk in crime reduction. Thank you very much. Community Safety Department.
Thanks, Chair. Let me greet the committee members once more. We have prepared a presentation, Chairperson, on the functionality of kiosks. We'll try and do a summary. We've also prepared it in terms of the corridors. So we'll try and summarize it, just only focus on the challenges and some of the issues that we think the committee would be interested in. I'm going to request Daxita to quickly take us through the summaries per corridor and some of the challenges and some of the things that we are doing to improve the areas that are problematic for us. Daxita?
Good morning, Chairperson and members of the committee. Good morning, MEC and Acting HOD. I'm Daxita Mistry, and I'll be making this presentation. Would it be possible, please, for Tabile to flight the presentation for me? Sorry, Chairperson and stakeholders, good morning. I'm sorry, I'm just waiting for the presentation to be flighted before I start.
Tabile, are you winning with flighting the presentation, ma'am?
Check, yeah, is flighting the presentation.
There's a flash on me. That's what I'm seeing.
Apologies, Chair. I've been flighting it. It seems there's a problem on my side. Utabila atuzoyenza just now. Apologies.
Chair, I have shared the document. I don't know if everybody can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you very much, Chairperson and Tabile. I just want to indicate that, I will be going per corridor, and as you directed, Chair, we'll just move down through and highlight some critical points. We just want to indicate here that in terms of the Southern Corridor, and particularly Vanderbijl Park Police Station, if I highlight a challenge there, the kiosk is not aligned with the sector vehicles because the police indicated that the complaints will not have reference numbers. But what we do want to indicate that the kiosk does have a push to talk, and the kiosk was deployed or is deployed rather at Popalong Satellite Police Station. And because of manpower, because of a lack of person power shortage at the station. But the kiosk does assist with accessibility to services for the community. Then when we move on to Orange Farms, you will see there that the kiosk is also deployed in crime hotspots. Okay. But the SAPS van broke. And then also there is a push to talk there as well. And there was a period when it was broken, and the department has since replaced it with a new one. May I carry on, Chairperson, or should I wait for the presentation to be flighted?
Now continue, Taxita.
Thank you, Chairperson. Then when I move on to the Northern Corridor, when we look at Ritgat, the kiosk is deployed at Block X Community Hall due to lack of transport. However, it does assist communities with complaints. It does have a communication gadget, but it is dysfunctional. However, the department is has engaged head office, this office here, and we are working with Vodacom to restore that service. Then when we move on to Shoshongube, the kiosk is deployed at the Crossing Mall due to lack of transport. However, it does assist with receiving complaints from the community. The same issue as before with the gadget and the need for Vodacom to assist. Acacia, it's deployed at Thorntree Mall and also assists with complaints. The same issue there with the gadget. Then when we move on to Attridgeville, the kiosk is deployed at the station, although it is underutilized due to the transport challenge. The wardens, however, tow it to different hotspots or to the mall once a week. There's an issue there with placed outside the station and assists with complaints and certification of documents. SAPS, together with the department, have planned to deploy the kiosks at UNISA in January during registration period, assist with police visibility and registering any complaints. There's an issue there with the gadget also that Vodacom needs to sort out. In terms of the Western Corridor, Krugersdorp, 3 wardens have been deployed at the kiosk and 3 patrollers. You see there was a challenge with one of the patrollers and his services have been terminated. The kiosk is in good working condition. The kiosk was not deployed at the time of the visit due to service maintenance, and safety ambassadors together with the traffic warden assist with CSC daily. Then the gadget is not utilized here and is kept at the station. for safekeeping at the Vispol Commander's Office. Then in terms of Kagiso, the same peace officers deployed in Krugersdorp are responsible for the kiosk in Kagiso, and 4 patrollers have been deployed there. The kiosk is in good working condition. However, the gadget is not functional, and it is kept at the Vispol head's office. And the kiosk only gets deployed to hotspots, and when there is an additional stamp available. Then I just want to move on to Randfontein. The kiosk has 1 peace officer deployed and 4 patrollers. The peace officers deployed with other officers deployed in Krugersdorp, and they are using 1 vehicle to tow the kiosk. The kiosk has been deployed to hotspots, and when there is an additional SAP stamp that is available. However, we did find that there were bicycles in the kiosk, but they've since been removed. Tsakane, when I move on to that area in the Eastern Corridor, the kiosk has been deployed at a mall, but had to be stopped due to the non-availability of transport. However, the kiosk is in good working order, and safety ambassadors together with the traffic warden assist at the CSC daily. There's also an issue there with a gadget, and it is kept at the station for safekeeping. Then in Duduza, the police station did not have a van with a tow bar, and there they were assisted by the Southern Corridor traffic warden, and during that time, the availability of transport, the kiosk was deployed at various hotspots. There is an issue there as well with the gadget that is at safekeeping for the station. Then in Ituatwa, you will also see there, the gadget is used to capture complaints, is not working. Then the kiosk is still in good condition, and the station has a suitable vehicle with a tow bar. However, the kiosk only gets deployed to hotspots when a certain warrant officer is on duty. In Reiger Park, the kiosk is in good condition and gets deployed at Ramaphosa Sector 3. However, the project is aligned to a certain sergeant, and if that member is off duty, the team is on duty rather, then they receive the necessary support. Then there, the gadget that is used to capture complaints and incidents is not fully utilized and is currently being kept at the station for safekeeping. In Brakpan, the kiosk is also in good condition and gets deployed to hotspots. However, the project is supported by certain individuals, and also the same issue with the gadget as with other stations. The gadget is not fully utilized and kept at the station for safekeeping. Tembisa North, that kiosk is also in good condition and deployed at Pumlani Mall, but it is parked at the station because they do not have a vehicle with a tow bar. Then there are 4 safety ambassadors that assist with screening at the gate. Then the gadget is also not fully utilized and kept at the station. Ivory Park, the kiosk is in good condition and there's a complement of 4 safety ambassadors. Then the station had 1 vehicle with a tow bar, and the kiosk would be deployed at Boxer in Sector 7. The gadget is also not fully utilized and kept at the station for safekeeping. Kempton Park, that kiosk is also in a good state. There are 4 safety ambassadors and 1 traffic warden, and the kiosk is deployed around the CBD Monday to Friday and at the hotspots. At times when the vehicle, when the van, there's no vehicle, the captain, due to good working relationships with EMPD, they assist in that regard. Then the gadget is not fully utilized and is kept at the station. In Central Corridor, Hillbrow, the kiosk is normally deployed corner Claim and Bruce, Van der Merwe and Claim, De Korte and Bickard in Braamfontein, often outside the Chicken Licken. Sometimes in Kilani and First Avenue, there in the same area, and the kiosk is operating support from the station, and the gadget there is also not fully utilized and kept at the station. However, there is a WhatsApp group created with departmental officials as well for daily reporting. Then, sorry, Chairperson. Okay. Morocco, hotspots identified in this area change per the crime patterns, and so that is the Senowani, Boxer, and White City crossroads, and the gadget is also not fully utilized, but there's a WhatsApp group. Then Diepsloot, the kiosk was deployed at Bambanani Mall and Diepsloot Mall and Boxer Shopping Center, and patrollers are deployed in kiosks at the malls with a police officer rendering services for affidavits. And also there, the gadget is not fully utilized, but there's a WhatsApp group created as well. Eldorado Park, the kiosk is deployed at ShopRite Shopping Center, and the station often tows the kiosk to the center. However, patrollers are deployed on their own. There, the gadget is also not fully utilized, but there's a WhatsApp group. Sandton, the patrollers are presently deployed at the police station CBD next to the convention center, and also Woodmead Shopping Center and Gautrain Station. Gadget is also not fully utilized, but there's a WhatsApp group created. Jabulani, the kiosk rotates in all the sectors every week. This includes Jabulani Mall every end of the month, and the station offers enough support to patrollers by deploying an officer to work in the kiosk. Same story there with the gadget not being fully utilized but kept at the station, but there is a WhatsApp group. Sophiatown, in this area, the deployment follows the crime trends. So areas such as Westbury, Greymont, ShopRite, Spa, West Street, Newlands, Brown and Main Street. Same story with the gadget, not fully utilized. It's at the station, but there's a WhatsApp group. Then when we move on to Cleveland, the kiosk in this area is deployed at Park Meadow Shopping Center, Spa, and M2 East. The same story with the gadget and the WhatsApp group. Jeppe, kiosk is normally deployed at New Goch Road, Maboneng Precinct, and at corner Fox and Kruger. Same story with the gadget there not being fully utilized, but there's a WhatsApp group. Roodepoort kiosk is deployed at Roodepoort Clinic, as it is a very busy place in this precinct and cars are usually broken into there. Same story with the gadget. Alex, the kiosk is deployed at Pan African Mall and Alex Mall, and through the help of the wardens, members of the community are now able to certify their documents. The police in this precinct are supportive and do visit the kiosk often to ensure visibility. Same story with the gadget. Honeydew, the police station has been using their patrollers at the police station and to support crime prevention, although the hotspots have been identified, such as Northgate Mall, Clearwater, Rand Park Ridge Mall, Cosmos City Shopping Center, and Sunspread. In moving on then to the next police station, Dobsonville, kiosk is deployed Dobsonville Mall, Dobsonville Point, Bram Fisher, Pick and Pay. The patrollers in this kiosk have enough support after the CPF addressed the issue with SAPS. Same story with the gadget. Moffatview, kiosk can be found at Lynn Meyer Shops, Pick and Pay, Steeldale, City Deep Fruit Market, and Elands Park. And the police are very supportive of the project. The department is currently working on installing a ramp to assist the patroller who's in a wheelchair to access the kiosk. Same story there with the gadget. And that, Chairperson, then concludes the department's input on the kiosk status quo. Thank you.
That's it, Tawe. You know, Umundu, when listening to what you've just said, you is getting a picture perfect. In LSD or HD picture of how this kiosk are working. Go on the ground and see what is happening. The only one that is working is the one in LX. The others are not working. But anyway, I'm just joking. Can we then get the input from, but I'm serious about please go on the ground and check. Because majority of our kiosks are either used as new community service centers in police stations, and some of them have now become white elephants, you know. And the same can be said with the mobile police stations. Some of them are working properly, and you interact with the community, they agree that those things are actually working, but in other areas they're not working. So it depends from one area to another, but majority of them, Taxita, there is a serious challenge with those, and I think they need proper monitoring by the project manager. The project manager must go out on a daily basis and visit those kiosks. I'm not saying all of them, but at least a certain percentage a day, just to see if those things are actually working, and also try and assist or intervene where there are actually challenges, because there are definitely challenges in those in those kiosks. Majority, not all of them. So I want us to have a members. Here was the presentation by Taxi. Someone has decided to unmute himself and is making unnecessary noise. Whoever is, can you please let me mute all of them? Hello? Ngimutile lo muntu, I just hope ukuthi yeah. No, thank you very much. Members, can you then ask questions, interact with the presentation by Taxita? Those were just my comments on what she presented, because what she presented sounds very perfect, but honestly speaking, on the ground is nothing as perfect as she presented. Comments from the members? Honorable members, Nihek. Kobas. Khateb. Kanyile, I know you're supposed to join a memorial service of the Auditor General. So we might, former Auditor General Kanyile, we might not be able to hear your voice, but please, if you can say something. Honorable Deputy Speaker. Hello? Maybe. Hello? Am I audible? Ngathi ngikhuluma ngiwana nginizwa. Am I audible? Okay, I'll have to switch off this one and join the other one. Let me see. I can't hear anybody. No, awukhuluma kulo angizwa mina. Okay. Okay. Honorable Kobas, can you hear me? I'll have to use my other gadget. My other gadget. My other gadget. May I request that one of the members continue with the meeting? I'll try and join you again. Hello? Yeah, can you unmute your mic?
Chairs, I can hear you, but I don't know if you can hear us.
Can you unmute your mic? I wonder what was happening. Something terrible happened, but I'm not sure what is it. Kobas, I'm told that your hand was up. The MEC told me that your hand was up. Can I ask you to comment on the presentation made by the department? I'm really, really sorry. I hope I didn't make any funny comments like Ndidikiwe. So I promise you I didn't make any funny comments. And if I did, my apologies. Can I then ask Honorable Member Kobas to please engage with the presentation by Dr. Kanyile? Thank you very much that you are still with us, and I do understand your challenge in terms of joining the memorial service of the former Auditor General. Kobas, Honorable Kobas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, sometimes there's some gremlins getting into everything, so it's not a problem. Thank you very much, Chair. I've got two questions, I think. The one is, do we see a reduction in crime because of the COVID, because people's ability to drive around and stuff like that has been hampered by the COVID restrictions? And then my second question would be that I see that carjacking, truck hijacking, robbery of cash in transit, bank robbery, not so much, and house robbery has increased overall. Is there a strategy to yes?
You know, that question I think must be directed to the Provincial Commissioner when he make presentation on crime stats. So maybe for now, can I ask you to pick the ones that are directly for SAPS and just focus on the deployment of kiosk as well as mobile police stations in their effect in terms of reducing crime. But your questions are relevant when we go to the next presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sorry, am I a bit lost today? Okay. With regards to the rural safety or the rural police stations, I just have one question. Is there a strategy to get these police stations more vehicles to look at these figures that we see here? But I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. No, thank you very much. And I think linked to your question, you know, there are areas like Pumla, Mkashi, Kokotela, etc., etc. And we're beginning to see a high rate of crime in those areas. Is there any plans to deploy mobile police station as well as kiosk? And there are areas like Vlakfontein and them that are serviced by a very small police station. And are there any plans to deploy in Vlakfontein in particular a police station, a mobile police station, or a kiosk in order to assist the community there to access the services? And Vlakfontein, the neighboring area is the higher Vlakfontein proper and its extensions. Is there any plans to do that? Honorable Kanyile, any questions?
Yes, Chair. I just want to find out on the numbers of patrollers deployed per kiosk, because when we went there, we found different figures compared to what is provided by the department. Now, can they confirm, because they seem to suggest that there are 4 patrollers who are being, I mean, there's a shift of 6 patrollers on a 24-hour shift. Can they confirm if really how many patrollers are deployed per shift? And then also, can they indicate what plan the department has in place to ensure that the shift system is implemented as initially planned? And can they also further advise what plans are in place to ensure that the police personnel are always deployed with the patrollers as initially envisaged? Lastly, Chair, I just want to find out that what monitoring tool is in place to monitor the operations of the kiosk, and when were peace wardens deployed, and were they given the required training to perform their duties? Yeah, thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. Linked to it will be the kiosk, they just park there and there's no patrolling in the block or in the precinct where the kiosks are being deployed as initially proposed. But yes, the numbers are very important because what we saw on the ground was completely different from what is being reported here. Any other member on kiosk? Thank you very much. Can I then get a response from the Department of Community Safety?
Thank you very much, Chair. One, on the issue of rural safety, due to challenges of us not procuring more of these safety kiosks, we find ourselves in a situation whereby we can't deploy more. But previously in the department, there used to be kiosks. We used caravan. Some of them, the chairperson of the board is here, Chair. We had said, let's do a reconciliation, let's do an audit. I remember in Naledi, I found one. And the police station there was using it as a storage, sama docket abo. I then engaged the station commander and we pulled that kiosk to Vlakfontein. So currently Vlakfontein has one, Chair, and it is linked to your Land South police station and the sector car that is patrolling in Vlakfontein. So that also responds to your question on areas such as Vlakfontein that don't have Ntuzana. Secondly, on the issue of Kokotela, Lakeview Estate, all these new areas that are developing in the south. On Saturday, we've been meeting with Ennerdale police station after there was a march where it is alleged that there's a satellite police station that was promised to the residents of Fine Town by 5 years ago. So I assume 5 years ago it was yourself, Chair of Chairs. And they say up to now it has not yet started working. So they marched to the police station, but they included other communities. We agreed that the safety kiosk, in fact, Ennerdale does not have one, Chair. And we don't know in order to bring to Ennerdale. That's the major challenge that we have currently. So we engaged the community. Yesterday, we had agreed that all those that want to volunteer and be patrollers, they must meet us at the station at 3 o'clock. No one pitched up. So we'll be going back to replanning again. How do we sort out the issue of those that are being policed by Ennerdale, which is your Fine Town, Kokotela, Mountain View, and all those areas. But when it comes to rural safety, Chair, we are taking it very serious. But the challenge is that, as I indicated, we don't have any of these safety kiosks. That's why we're busy trying to hunt down AMA kiosks, those that were funded by, not donated by Edgar's. It was Edgar's, Star newspaper and whatever. They were beautifully branded. I do have a picture of them, how they look like, a Chair, that we can share with you. So we're busy looking for them in some of these areas. And so far, we're only able to find 4, but most of them, they are not in good condition. We had to pull them to our basement, and we said, let's start a process of repairing them so that then they also go and mitigate in these areas where there is lack of policing, and also by the challenge is the distance between the police station and the area. But sector cars are there, Chair. Difference is that there's now a reduced number of sector cars. Almost all sectors, there's now 1 car. Before there used to be 2 cars. And some of the challenges of why there's 1 car in each sector is that most of the cars are in garages, others are broken, others were involved in accidents. And after that big arrest of the top brass at the SAPS, Amapois are now afraid to sign anything much. So that's why now we are having a backlog of some of these. But those that go in for minor repairs, like changing tires and whatever, I see them in various areas where there's repairing being done, just to sort out those things that are there. But I'm sure the acting PC is also here, including her team. They'll also add on this challenge, on these areas where police station is far. How then do they mitigate in ensuring that they assist communities to also have policing? Even green doors, Chair, the reason why we deploy them in far-flung areas, we're also mitigating that fact that people can't go to the police station because the police station is far. So having a green door in an area, it assists any victim or survivor of GPV to be able to go there. And police are called, as those are almost 2 hours to come and attend to that person who is there. It is a serious challenge. Response time of the SAPS members of the portfolio committee. It is a very, very serious. It's like that song of Tracy Chapman, where it says the police always come late if they come at all. But police, they take time before they respond because they have a shortage of capacity, and majority of their cars are actually have gone for repairs, or some of them are just not in good condition to be able. And the Kokotela, you'll recall, roads are narrow and it's on a mountain now. It means the type of cars now that must actually go towards Ennerdale for them to be able to police Kokotela. It must be a 4x4. You can't go in with that small Anyana van. Otherwise, it will also experience challenges of breakdown very easily. So it means within the stock that they have, they must start reorganizing to say these areas that are a big problem that can be policed, And if you go up, you can't come down. There's no way to U-turn. What is La Pagma favelas? You know, then Brazil where there are favelas, that when you go up, you remember, Che, we went there. When you go up, there's no way where you can U-turn. It means you must reverse back for you to actually leave that place. So these are the problems that police are experiencing. And hopefully, as we continue engaging municipalities, their town planning, their design, they must find a way to open up the roads, especially in informal settlements, so that police are able to go up and be able to turn and go down as part of policing those areas. I'll end there for now. I hope Daxida add where we left off. But on this matter of what we were saying earlier, Chair, it's true. Time and again, I go to any police station, I find these kiosks standing there. And they will tell you, no, it was not pulled. No, we have a working relationship with the police. Police no longer have cars to pull these kiosks. Half the time you find them parked at the police station. So, all right, Lamazet 83, they must tell the truth. I literally pick up a phone and call them. I'm here at Deep Sloot. Our kiosk is used for sanitizing people and for writing a register when you enter police station. Also, Puma kitchen and come as if they are sorting it. Now, Puma Fulatela, it still remains there. You come back again, utolisa mile, sanitize abantu. So that 83 people, you are right, Jay. When you say some of the things that they put in writing, vis-a-vis what is happening as the Hambisani, they must learn to tell the truth and share their challenges. And I must tell you some of these challenges, that some of these kiosks, they broke, later of Tonta, others the wheels have come off, meaning the quality of these kiosks was not one that is up to scratch, because they are experiencing problems of breaking down or and some of them, they are not friendly to get in. Now it's too kiosk in order to even the steps that was applied, it's a plastic step. I'm sure no one can climb on a plastic step because it just breaks according to the weight of the people, a person who is trying to climb onto that plastic step. I'll end there for now, Chairperson. Hopefully, we've responded to all your concerns. We intend to improve, Chair, and the project leader, if not the project person, will have to check up his or her act. When it comes to the kiosks. And as they are linked to corridors, it means each and every corridor must also take responsibility and ensure that where these kiosks are deployed, they must make sure that they are actually deployed in those. Very few are working. It's true. I found that the Sakari one is standing, not working. After I raised it up with them, they said, no, there's no police that is able to help them. So hoping all these things will be sorted out after this meeting.
No, thank you very much, MEC, and I'm happy that you are confirming some of our observation when we were on the ground, and we appreciate your honesty. Because, you know, if you really go through Daxita's presentation, you'll think everything is hunky-dory. But go on the ground, and most of our kiosks are now used as CSCs, literally used as CSCs, where whether you are reporting a serious case or not, and where they are able to intervene, they intervene, and we say they move, and sometimes even on domestic violence cases, which is unacceptable. But we appreciate your response, and please, let's make sure that the project coordinator or the person who's responsible for this program, every day I shy door to door. Not is I shy door to door. Everything I was when I shy door to door. I office and actually rely on information that they get through the phone, or when they know that we are going to those areas, they rush to those areas and pretend that things are happening there. Thank you very, very much, MEC. We'll then move to the next presentation. And that presentation will be the impact of kiosk and mobile police stations in crime reduction by SAPS. Can we get SAPS presenting? I'm told that they are also in Hollywood. Ubange James Bond of the team here, SAPS today. Who's acting?
Good afternoon, person.
Oh, okay. Who James Bond when I'm trying to actor?
Good afternoon, Chair.
Yes, sir. I'm asking, are you James Bond of the delegation of SAPS today?
It's still good morning, Honorable Chair, MEC, the honorable members of the Portfolio Committee, the CPF Provincial Board, the HOD for Community Safety. I must indicate that I'll take the presentation on the impact of the safety of the kiosk. The management for the South African Police Service, we having the acting provincial commissioner being Major General Ramporter, the deputy provincial commissioner responsible for crime detection, Brigadier Bender, who is responsible for the organizational development, and of course, we're having communication, Captain Masondo. I am the deputy responsible for policing. Honorable Chair, I'm also having Brigadier Joseph, who is the provincial head for visible policing. I will present the impact and the presentation for the crime, and thereafter the deputy provincial commissioner will be presenting or will be addressing the chairperson and the honorable members, and thereafter the crime register will do the presentation for crime statistics release. Without the waste of time, I'm not so sure whether the presentation will be flighted, Honorable Chair, so that I can continue with the presentation.
Can you assist with the flighting of the presentation? Whilst they're doing that, Tombe, where is the PC? Is he on leave?
The PC is on leave, but the acting PC is with me. Yeah, I wanted to take first the impact of the safety of the kiosk and the mobile police stations.
Now, I wanted to get it from you because SAPS. So we don't want to assume that he's on leave, you know. Wanted to get it from you.
Honorable Chair.
Okay, no, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, the presentation is up. Can we get the person responsible to do the presentation?
Honorable Chair, it's me. I would like just to say we have noted the presentation by the Community Safety Chief Director, Daxita, and we have noted the issue of the project manager, which we'll link into. The presentation on the first page is just a reflection on the impact of safety kiosk and the mobile police station for Gauteng. The next page is the content, which will include background, deployment of the kiosk, deployment procedure, risks and mitigation, proposed way forward, and conclusion. The next slide, Honorable Chair, it's the background. I see it's not moving. Can I proceed, Honorable Chair?
Yes, continue.
The background, Honorable Chair, and honorable members, MEC, the Department of Community Safety entered into a procurement process during 2018 to build, supply and deliver 36 community kiosks to 36 identified stations in Gauteng. The kiosks were received in November 2018. However, they were then returned due to specification not met and poor workmanship. These shortcomings were rectified and redeployed at the 36 station from May 2019. The aim of the deployment of these branded and equipped community kiosks was to enhance police visibility and improve frontline police service delivery at identified areas with the aim of facilitating a further supply and roll out additional kiosks in 2020. The community kiosks were handed over and placed under the control of the station commanders where the kiosks were allocated. The next slide, Honorable Chair, is the deployment of the kiosk, of which this was touched also by the Department of Community Safety. We have arranged the deployment of the kiosk in terms of the city linked to the metropolis. The one, it's a city of Tshwane metropolis, where we had a total of 8 of them, of which is covered is Acacia, One Temba, Bronkhorstspruit, Soshanguve, Atteridgeville, Pretoria Central, Sunnyside, and Red Hat, which gives us a total of 8. I must indicate, Chairperson, on the last column there, the delivery date. We had the kiosk delivered on the 2nd, the 3rd, 4th, 6th, 7th, 10th, 23rd, 24th, 27th of May 2019. Then the next slide, Honorable Chair, is we're covering also the deployment of the mobile police station only available in Tshwane for 2 areas, which is Silverton and Mamelodi East. Those mobile police stations came into being, or they were delivered after the ministerial imbizo in Mamelodi, where the community requested the mobile police stations, seeing that Mamelodi East is outgrowing, more especially when you go there towards the mountain. And there was also a concern at Nel Mapias. The deployment of the kiosk at Ekurhuleni linked to the city of Ekurhuleni, we had a total of 8, of which is 1 Tembisa Ivory Park, Duduza, Brakpan, Itwatwa, Rachel Park, and Tsakan. Then we moved to the deployment of kiosk for the city of Johannesburg. The city of Johannesburg, of which we're having a total of 70. We have in Johannesburg, Hillbrow, Moroka, Diepsloot, El Dorado Park, Jablan, Sophiatown, Moffat View, Dobsonville, Honeydew, Orange Farms, Alexander, Sandton, Midrand, Rodiport, GP, Cleveland, and Kagiso, though Kagiso falls under West Rand as a district. We're also having in Vanderbijl Park, Mfuleni, Mohali City, Krugersdorp, Rand West, Randfontein. The next slide, Honorable Chair, it's some notes relating to the deployment of those kiosks. Each kiosk is meant by 2 South African police members equipped with a police radio and frontline service documents needed for the opening of the case dockets and the certification of documents. We have taken note of most of those areas where they are deployed, the usage of the gadget. It is a concern. The sector vehicle in that area of deployment, supported by the Metro or Traffic Police, are directed to offer support to the members, attend to complaints, receive follow-up, identify suspects, operationalize any information or community-based intelligence received. 4 community patrollers are deployed, of which it has been touched by the Department of Community Safety to support the process and enhance visibility in the directed circumference the kiosk. The kiosk is not permanently deployed at one specific location. It is a mobile and can be placed where needed to offer support to remote or vulnerable communities. An occurrence book, which we call OB, is placed at the kiosk, and all actions are recorded, and shift or relief commander visible. Policing commander must peruse the register daily and ensure all actions are sanctions and any challenges is attended to. Challenges to the kiosk is the next slide. The availability of vehicles with a tow bar and the engine capacity to facilitate the movement of the mobile kiosk, which was covered by the Department of Community Safety. In mitigating the challenge, South African Police Service supply chain have been linked to facilitate the availability of funds and the procurement of the tow bars at all affected stations, as it is a cause of concern. These tow bars. Then secondly, exposure of operational members to COVID-19, which we all know. Mitigation, we have to ensure that all members deployed have access to sufficient PPEs and utilize as prescribed, and also ensure all clients are scanned, wear a mask, receive access to hand sanitizer. The third one is shortage of storage facilities. When not activated, that is a safe and protective of the extreme weather conditions. Mitigation, all stations must identify permanent storage facilitate for the kiosk. We continue with the challenges. So next slide. The exposure of members deployed to possible attack by criminal elements when deployed at the critical hotspots, which is not limited to the patrollers. Mitigation, ensure police visibility is enhanced in and around deployment. Members to be equipped with the SAPS and radio sidearms and bullet resistance vests. The rapid response plan to be implemented for any early warnings or attacks. And other challenge, unforeseen overcrowding and pressure at the points by clients seeking service by deployed personnel. Mitigation, we have to ensure that we employ effective queue management and ensure clients practice social distance and remain conversant on service rendered and approximate time needed for service to be rendered. Then the next slide is the ideal areas for deployment. In areas identified as critical crime hotspots, gender-based violence hotspots, service delivery hotspots, in and around schools or learning institutions offering service to the students, at major events, at areas of disaster, example, the building fires, floods, service delivery hotspots, and natural disaster. Taxi rank, railway station, tourist hotspots, shopping malls, as it was covered by the presentation by the community safety in terms of those deployment. The next slide, which is almost the second last slide, is a proposed way forward. The proposed way forward, Gauteng has 55 jeep stations identified by the Department of Community Safety for extraordinary intervention to address all levels of crime and improve community perception of the service rendered by the law enforcement. It remains ideal that all 55 identified stations are capacitated with mobile kiosks to enhance policing in these areas. The Department of Community Safety should proposing to design a deployment and action executed template to evaluate the utilization and impact of deployment monthly. Standard operational procedure to be aligned to all stations equipped with a mobile kiosk. The status of deployment and impact of kiosk must be evaluated at the district crime combating forums and the joint meeting held by the district. A review session on deployment to be facilitated by the provincial head visible policing, targeting all 36 capacitated stations. And in conclusion, Honorable Chair, the availability of this kiosk from May 2020 was negatively influenced by the national lockdown and the surge in the COVID-19 virus. Community policing structures that are critical in this process could not be utilized due to the COVID restrictions and the fear of contracting or spreading the virus. This kiosk form a critical tool available for offering essential law enforcement service to vulnerable communities and areas heavily affected by all categories of crime. This kiosk offers a clear, visible solution to all law enforcement agencies and their partners in areas of need. The community kiosk concept and deployment of mobile satellite community service center is a huge step in moving service delivery to all walks of life and will reduce crime levels, allowing communities to feel safe and be safe. Final words, Chairperson. We have touched the issue of prioritizing the tow bar as it affects this deployment of the kiosk. We have also noted some of the questions of which the MEC have answered in terms of the areas like your Kokotela, in terms of the challenges of which we have there. But lastly, is the question which came relating to Vlakfontein area. We have to indicate that the South African Police Service have undertaken the organizational development study, and that police station, the investigation is concluded and it's approved that the police station has to be a full-fledged police station, and it's on the level of Lieutenant Colonel. The matter, however, is referred to supply chain to place on the user assessment management. In other ways, to prioritize in terms of the accommodation, so that ultimately at the end of the day, that police station has to have accommodation to accommodate the staff. And this priority list is sent yearly, and ultimately it will be sent to PWD, which has to deal with that aspect. Much appreciated for the opportunity, Honorable Chair and the Honorable Member MEC. I thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ntatem Tombe. Unfortunately, we didn't see your face when presenting. Can you quickly show your face? Because information are show to corner. Our presenter, can you quickly have your face of the TPCP? And then can everyone is going to present? Can I request that you also show your face when presenting? And I think that will also assist with the media as well, so that when the report is being covered, at least the report does have a face. Thank you very much, Ntatem Tombe, for the presentation. And I will also request that from your side, when presenting, please try and put up the flight for us, because the one that you have just presented, Ntatem Tombe, was not flighted, and unfortunately we don't have it on our side. Can we then request that we flight the presentation? SAPS, slide their presentation themselves when presenting. Thank you very much. I'm not going to allow questions for now. We'll quickly go into the presentation of the crime statistics by SAPS. And after that, when engaging, I'm not going to only allow our members, I'm also going to allow stakeholders to engage with the two presentations, as well as the one from the Department of Community Safety on CLOS. And Madam Chairman, can you please indicate to us who's going to make a presentation?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. The Acting Provincial Commissioner will take the seat.
Please show your face, ma'am.
Show my face. Oh. Can you see me, Chair?
No.
Wampana, Chair.
I could go on, my darling.
Runare ambona.
Sina siyambona, Chair.
It's fine if you are in Ambona, Greg.
No, siyambona.
Okay. Can you continue the presentation, ma'am?
Thank you, Chair. I'll just move to the presentation, Chair. I will be presenting the provincial crime statistics from July to September 2020-2021. Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, MEC, Community Safety, Faith Mazebugo, honorable members of the Portfolio Committee, management of the South African Police Service in Gauteng, stakeholders present today, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Last week, Friday, on the 13th of October, 2020, the Minister of Police, General Begitele, presented and released the July to September 2020-2021 national crime statistics that reflected a decrease in contact crimes, sexual offenses, contact-related crime, property-related crime, and other serious crime. However, the
presentation is not
aggravated,
Chair.
remain a challenge with increases on robbery at residential premises, robbery of cash in transit, and robbery that was registered on the coast of South Africa. Today, we are here to zoom into and unpack Gauteng's crime.
General, the presentation is not on. The presentation is not flighted.
Yes, MC, this is just a introduction.
Hey, Maraludang, happy Raybone.
Oh. The MC was the introduction to me. Can I proceed, MEC?
Proceed whilst loading, thank you.
Yes, we are loading, MEC. I'm going to proceed with the introduction. Today, we are here to zoom into and unpack Gauteng's crime picture for the second quarter of July to September 2020-2021. During this reporting period, the national lockdown for the COVID-19 pandemic moved from level 3, 2, and 1, where we currently are in level 1 of the lockdown. And government still continues to respond to the global pandemic that has turned lives upside down. Honorable members, in response to the 2016 cabinet decision, the SAPS released the crime statistics on a quarterly basis. This therefore means that we will be back here to present the crime picture of the third quarter of 2020-2021, soon after Minister Cele's presentation on the crime situation in South Africa in January 2021. I do believe that everyone has a vested interest in the past quarter's performance, given where we are at present time. fighting crime as well as the invisible enemy of COVID-19, the lockdown definitely had a huge impact on almost all crime categories. We will, however, cross that bridge when we get there. 17 community reported serious crime. Chair, allow me at this point to give a synopsis of the crime picture of the second quarter of this financial year, where we recorded a 16% decrease in the 17 community reported serious crime incidents. The acting provincial head crime register, Colonel John van der Merwe, will give a more comprehensive picture immediately hereafter. This 16 decrease means that we recorded a decrease of 18,417 cases, lower than in July to September 2019-2020, which in our analysis was as a result of crime reductions in all four broad categories of crimes, namely contact crimes, contact-related crime, property-related crimes, and other serious crimes. All law enforcement achieved substantial decreases during the second quarter of the 2020-2021 financial year. We still face tough challenges in separate crimes that are embedded in the broad categories that will be highlighted. In terms of the contact crimes consist of murder, attempted murder, assault GBH, assault common, aggravating robbery, common robbery, and sexual offenses. Contact crimes decreased by 11.1% in Gauteng. That translates to a volume decrease of 4,877 counts. However, as law enforcement, we look beyond this decrease to those who have lost their lives and sustained serious injuries as victims of crime. With regard to the murder, Gauteng decreased 10.1% in the second quarter of July to September 2020-2021, with Tshwane district being the only district that registered an increase for murder. The following consecutive factors are still problematic in murder and attributed to, though not exclusively, arguments, misunderstanding that contributed to over 143 cases, which are not related to domestic violence. Over 76 were related to robberies, whether house, business, or street. Vigilantism or mob justice contributed to over 43 murder cases. Domestic violence, including love triangles, contributed to 26 murders. 18 murders were as a result of taxi violence. Retaliation, revenge contributed to murders, while illicit mining contributed to over 13 murders. Over and above these factors, Gauteng also registered multiple murders. In Beggersdal, 5 people were murdered in IPC Church. This incident was motivated by factional conflicts. In Wedela, 4 people were shot at Kusasa Day 2 screening plant. The motive is unknown. In Florida, 3 people were found decomposed at an informal settlement. The motive is unknown. In Kliptown, 3 dead people were found at a dumping site. The motive is unknown. In Oliven Bosch, 3 people were discovered buried in a yard. The motive indicates a multi-related murder. In Portland, a mother with her 2 children were found dead in a house, and the motive is suspected to be domestic violence. Looking at other murders that were also noteworthy, was 14 females were murdered during the reporting period, and 1 farm murder was registered. Other contact crime, regarding other offenses in the contact crime categories for July to September 2020-2021, attempted murder decreased 2.2%, and assault GBH with 10.4% decrease. Common assault decreased 4.7%, robbery aggravating decreased with 13.2%. Common robbery decreased with 23.3%, and sexual offenses decreased with 12.2%. This can be attributed to the interventions to work on restoring the public's trust and confidence in the service, as well as raising awareness amongst our communities. Successful tracing and arrest of wanted suspects, convictions through prosecutorial-led investigations, and multiple life sentences have also restored faith in the justice system, as we have seen many more victims come to report cases, even cases from years ago. Our partnerships with NGOs also gave us mileage, and we are working on continuing on this trajectory successes. Success stories, I'll mention the few. Ekurhuleni East FCS successes, Kwatema case 198 of 11/2018, rape, the accused was found guilty and the accused was sentenced to life imprisonment. We had also multiple cases where we had a lot of successes, where the accused Mhlongo Martin Eddie was convicted on the following cases: social Hoover case, on a house robbery case, rape and theft of motor vehicle, Acacia case, house robbery, and house robbery on the social Hoover case and rape, Acacia case, house 229 of 2017, house breaking and theft, social Hoover case 379 of 2017, Acacia case 601 and rape and robbery, Reche Park case 297 and another rape and robbery at the same station, Acacia case 575, house breaking and theft. Gauteng Provincial Police Attack Section successes, Diepkloof case 290 of 2020, murder of police officer. The deceased was Captain Oba Ishmael Machi. The suspect was also a Zimbabwean, and he was found guilty and sentenced, was given a life sentence. Another case in terms of taxi violence in Olifantsfontein, case 127 of 2018, murder, attempted murder, possession of firearms. The accused was convicted and sentenced for life sentence, and for attempted murder, 10 years, and for possession of unlicensed firearm, 5 years. This shows that there's also a partnership between the SAPS as well as NPA. Other serious crimes include theft, general commercial crime, and shoplifting. Of these, and the whole category reduced by 14.6%. Only commercial crime indicated an increase of 2.8%. That translates to 208 cases higher than July to September 2019-2020. Citizens continue to fall for scams even after the warnings we have repeatedly issued in the past. During the analysis of commercial crime, the top 5 methods used by criminals were money transfers, internet, fraud and scams, ATM withdrawals, false information and false pretenses. It is for this reason that plans are being implemented to develop a specialized cybercrime competency and build capacity among our investigators who will continue to work closely with the DPCI. Crimes detected as a result of police action. An increase in crimes detected as a result of police action reflects a positive impact and must be viewed as a success. It refers to cases that were opened as a result of arrest by the police. Unfortunately, we have missed the target on these crimes, and great emphasis was placed on this during the past Provincial Management Forum to enhance strategies to surpass previous targets reached. During the second quarter of July to September 2020-2021, this category decreased by 1,275 cases, and this was as a result of drug-related cases registering 6,130 cases lower, with a decrease of 50.4%, and driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs that registered 5,753 cases lower with a decrease of 61.2%. Although COVID-19 was a game changer in terms of arresting suspects for this crime category due to lockdown regulations where criminals changed their modus operandi, good work was still done due to intelligence-driven and integrated interventions by the SAPS, the Metro Police Department, provincial traffic, and other law enforcement agencies in Gauteng Province. Not forgetting much unclaimed Ugaimolao operations, where citizens now continue to call for Ugaimolao in their respective areas. Trio crimes, 3 districts recorded increases with Sidibeng leading with 18.4%, but not in terms of volumes registered. Carjackings increased by 5%, house robberies increased by 2.0%, and business robberies decreased by 13.3%. In terms of the hijackings, the most common weapon used by criminals are firearms. Coming to business robberies, mostly affected were spazas, tech shops, general dealers, clothing shops, retailers, and convenience stores, including the restaurants at filling stations, example, Steers, Woolworth Food, and successes stories. 20 district trio testing successes. In Luwate case 346 of 10/2017, armed robbery and murder. The accused was sentenced to life imprisonment for murder, which is count 1, then count 2 robbery with aggravating circumstances, was also sentenced to 15 years imprisonment. Both sentences are not running concurrently. Accused was sentenced by Mabatu High Court. Other offenses, looking at other offenses which fall under the umbrella of robbery with aggravating circumstances, robberies of cash in transit increased by 107.7%, which is 14 cases higher, and truck hijacking increased by 52.1%, which is 85 cases higher. Gauteng recorded 1 bank robbery during the reporting period. Honorable members, as I mentioned earlier, COVID-19 was a game changer, not only for law-abiding citizens, but also for criminals. The limited movement of persons and traffic, as well as the prohibition of selling of alcohol, as per the nationwide lockdown imposed as a result of COVID-19, a global pandemic limited soft and easy targets for criminals, and as a restrictions was eased, so did opportunities to commit crime also increase. This naturally had an impact on some crime categories. These trends will be highlighted in the next presentation. Having said that, honorable members, allow me to hand over to our acting provincial head crime register, Colonel John van der Merwe, who will present to the House a more detailed picture of the provincial crime statistics of July to September 2020-2021. Seeing that we are now in lockdown level 1, we anticipate that crime might be a challenge. However, we've got plans in place working hand in hand with other law enforcement agencies. Thank you, Chairperson.
Okay. Thank you very much, Acting Commissioner. And I then request that the next person make a presentation. Again, request that at least now that you have covered quite a number of areas, you need to try and summarize and cover the areas that he believes were not properly covered by yourself. Can I then request that the next presentation be made? Re kopa presentation e latela. Ora ke utlwahale. Am I audible? Ngiyazwakala na?
Yes, siyazwakala.
Chairperson, can you hear me? Chairperson?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I will start then. Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, all honourable members of the Portfolio Committee, management of the SAPS and all protocol observed. Thank you for the opportunity then to present the second quarter crime statistics of 2020-2021 to the Portfolio Committee then. On the next slide, the acting PC did mention the subcategories during her speech. So they are here for reference purposes. If anybody want to page back to them, the printout was also provided, I think, late last night. Next slide, please, Brigadier. Thank you, Chairperson. This is then the Gauteng picture. We are now looking at the contact crimes of Gauteng, and we can see the 11% that we have obtained in there. I'm not going to go through all the values, as some of them was already mentioned by the acting PC. Just to take note that there was a volume of 39,129 of these contact crimes registered in Gauteng for this quarter that under review, and we have decreased with 4,877. We do take note that each one of these is an individual that either got murdered or injured very badly and suffered also a lot of emotional damage. Although this category is green, the SAPS still stays very serious with regards to fighting this category. In the subcategory for robbery aggravated, we can see that the whole category have decreased there with 13% there, and there were a few issues in this category. We can see the carjackings. The total volume registered there for the quarter 2,435. We are 115 down, 5% down. The truck carjackings, we recorded a volume of 248, 85 up, and then 52% in the red. Then looking at the robbery of cash in transit, one of the tough issues that we had in the quarter was the 27 CITs registered with an increase of 1,407% increase on that one. And then we also had the only bank robbery that was registered in South Africa, and there we are one case higher. On the bank robberies, we registered the bank robbery, I think, 28 months back, so it's quite a while back since we had a bank robbery in Gauteng. The house robberies, the total volume increased there. The volume registered 1,942, 39 up, 2% increase. At least the business robberies decreased there with 13%. Looking at the trio crimes there, 1.4 down there. We will have a slide later where we'll just flag the stations because there were quite a lot of the stations in the top 40 that have indicated a red. So some of them did have some issues, although the majority was still on the green side. Looking at the breakdown of the sexual offences there, the rapes there, or attempted rape, sexual assault and contact sexual offences, all of them have decreased there. On the next slide, the first slide there, Chair, that is just a copy of the previous one for reference purposes. What we are looking here is the 100,000 per capita of the population that were affected. So if we look at the first one there, it indicates so far for the 2020-2021 financial year that our murders stand on 7.1. That means that 7.0 people are affected in 100,000 on murders within Gauteng here. Our attempted murders, 7.6 people. Then assault GBH, 53.1. Common assault, 68.4. Common robbery, 22.6. And then total sexual offences, 15.9 people per 100,000 are affected. On the next slide, we will continue with the last part of the slideshow. In our contact-related crimes, Gauteng still decreased over 13%, and we can see it's just the 9 cases on arsons that we have increased. On the property-related crimes, we were fine with a 25% decrease there. You can see that decrease translated to over 7,755. Then our other serious crimes, 16% down there. The only issue there was commercial crime, and the acting PC also referred to some issues that's hiding behind the commercial crime there. We can see for the crimes dependent on police action there, that we do have issues with regards to this. This is supposed to show increases, as this is where we as policemen and women go out to arrest the suspect. So if we don't go out, get in our vehicles or do our Bobby on the beat work and arrest the criminals for these type of crimes, then we won't achieve our increases. And this was also highlighted by the PC himself during the PMF session. Our illegal possession of firearms and ammunition was 9% down. You can see drug-related crimes there with 50% down, driving under influence 61% down, and then sexual offences as a result of police action, the 43% down there. On the next slide, we're going to look at the 17 community reported offences in terms of contact crime, contact-related crime, property-related crime, and other serious crimes. On the next slide, we can see the breakdown. Mohammed, just how do I move this thing out of the way?
Anywhere on the present.
Just click anywhere on the present. Okay. So sorry about that, Chairperson. It's just the video conferencing that I've put some information in front of my slide. Looking at the distribution of the different provinces here in South Africa, we can see that Gauteng is a heavyweight still. Gauteng is the third one there from the left. We have registered that total volume there of over 96,000. And then we can also see that we have decreased with 18,417, and that's 16% down for us here in Gauteng. But we can see in terms of the bars, we are the highest, followed by Western Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. And our weight in terms of the national scoreboard is 27.5%. So that's almost 30% that we contribute towards the national scoreboard. On the next slide, this is where we can see some of the trends that will indicate that the COVID-19 lockdown does have an effect on crime. Here we can see the 17 community reported crimes. The orange line, the top one, is then the previous period, and that is for 2019-2020. Then the blue line is for 2020-21, and that will be the case for all the other trend lines that we will show. We will see then from July up till the end of September, the gap analysis indicated negative values, which means we are still doing better against the comparison of the previous period. Then we can also see that all the districts have indicated decreases with Gauteng province, and I've already mentioned the value of the province there. For Ekurhuleni, it was 12%, Johannesburg, it was 19%, Sedibeng 12%, Tshwane, it was 15%, and then Western 11 down. On the next slide, this is the 17 community reported crimes, the top 40 stations. You will see there, Chair, that the top 16 stations are indicated in blue. I will not mention them for brevity's sake, but they are part of the national top 30 station for the second quarter, which means they are contributing heavily towards the national crime scoreboard. In Gauteng, the top 40 stations, 38 stations recorded a decrease and 2 indicated an increase. The highest increase recorded was at Alberton at 121 counts higher, and the highest decrease was at Johannesburg Central with 938 counts lower. On the next slide, that is just a continuation of the 40 stations. The only one with an increase there was Silverton at number 33. On the next slide, this is a breakdown of the 17 community reported offences in terms of contact-related property crimes and other serious crimes. We can see that on contact crimes 11%, contact-related 13 down, property-related crimes 25 down, and other serious crimes 14 down. Next slide. Then looking in terms of the contact crimes, we're going to break it down into murder, sexual offences, attempted murder, assault GBH, common assault, common robbery, and robbery aggravating. This is then the trend. We can see that starting from July until September, we started below the previous year of 2019, 2020, and now suddenly in September we have an increase in terms of the gap analysis, and we've increased 542 counts there. All of the districts are still green. Ekurhuleni 8% down, Johannesburg 15 down, Sedibeng 10 down, Tshwane 7 down, West Rand 8 down, and Gauteng 11% down. In terms of the breakdown of the two-year comparison, looking at all these categories, we have seen them on the statistics. This is just a different view of them. All of them are on the decrease. We can go to the next slide. Looking at the contact crimes, Honourable Chairperson, the top 18 stations also featured on the national top 30 list for the second quarter. They are marked in blue, which means they are contributing towards the national scoreboard top 30. In Gauteng, these top 30 stations, 33 recorded a decrease and 7 indicated an increase. The highest increase recorded was at Acacia with 56 counts higher, and the highest decrease was Johannesburg Central with 443 counts lower. Chairperson, can you hear me clearly? Chairperson, I just want to do a comm check and check if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairperson. I will then continue. Next slide. Thank you, Brigadier. This is a continuation of the 40 stations, just indicating the other red stations for contact crimes. Next slide. Thank you. Chair, on this slide, we just want to indicate the impact of certain crimes in terms of domestic violence, especially with regards to females. The first one that I want to highlight there is assault with the intent to inflict grievous bodily harm, which affected 919 females there. Attempted murder 20. Then common assault, we can see there a big value of 3,038. In common robberies 23, malicious damage to property 594. We had 14 domestic related murders on females, rapes 89, and sexual assault we had 22. On the next slide, this is the trend for murder then. We can see as soon as we lifted to level 2, our murders immediately started to pick up as people started to move around. Of late, we do have the -1 on the gap analysis, but that is virtually nothing there. We do know that murder is a very big challenge for us, as it was indicating already a while back that the gap analysis was shrinking. Now, looking at the different districts, we can see Tshwane district was the only district that have so far indicated an increase of 19%, 33 cases up. The other districts, Ekurhuleni 21% down, Johannesburg 7 down, Sedibeng 33 down, and West Rand 2% down, with the Gauteng 10% down. On the next slide, we have listed some selected positive factors that contributes towards murders. We can see arguments, misunderstandings, not related to domestic violence. Road rage and provocation have brought 143 crimes to the scoreboard. Robbery at houses, business and streets 76. Vigilantism or mob justice 43. Retaliation and revenge 18, as well as taxi related. Illicit mining 13. Gang related 9 murders, and law enforcement security guards 4. You can see that there was 2 murders on police official, one on duty and one off duty, and there was 1 murder at a farm. In terms of murders, the first 6 stations are highlighted in blue. The top 6 stations featured on the top 30 for the second quarter on the national transport scoreboard for that top 30 stations. In Gauteng, the top 40 stations, 18 stations reported a decrease and 18 indicated an increase. The highest increase reported was at the Tembisa South with 9 counts higher. Highest decrease was Morocco with 20 counts lower. Looking at the rest of the 40 stations from 20 to 40, and those that have increased were listed in red. We can continue to the next slide, Brigadier. Then the trend analysis for attempted murder during the lockdown, we can see that for July to August, during levels 3 and 2, we did have decrease in terms of the gap analysis, but of late in September, we did increase with attempted murder there, as we are above the line there with 37 cases. Looking at the districts there, following districts increase, Sedibeng with 1%, Tshwane with 16%, and West Rand with 4%. The other districts decrease, Ekurhuleni 6% down, and Johannesburg 9% down. All of Gauteng 2.2% down. Some positive factors on the attempted murders, we can see that robbery at houses, businesses and streets contributed 249 cases to the scoreboard, and then arguments, misunderstanding and not related to domestic violence, road rage and provocation, 172 cases. The other was gang-related 16 cases, retaliation events 13, illicit mining 8, public service protest 8, tax-related 7, vigilantism and mob justice 6, and labor-related was 5. Looking at the assault with the intent to inflict grievous bodily harm, we can see that for the first 2 months during the lockdown, July and August, we had a negative gap analysis, which was positive for us, but of late we have increased with more than 455 cases there. Looking at the districts, all of them are green, with Ekurhuleni 10% down, Johannesburg 9, Sedibeng 17, Tshwane 12, West Rand 5, and Gauteng decreased with 10% there. Our robbery aggravating circumstances also have a positive trend line for us for the second quarter. We can see with the gap analysis in July, where we started with a decrease of 861, it has shrunk, although we're now standing on September with a decreased gap analysis of 287. And we can see it's steadily going up, and it will most probably in the future meet with the previous year's values. Looking at the districts, all of them have decreased. Ekurhuleni 8 down, Johannesburg 24, Sedibeng 0.4, Tshwane 0.9, West Rand 10 down, and the whole of Gauteng 13.2 down. On the next slide, this is our robbery aggravating, our top 40 stations. So on this one, we had 15 stations that have increased. And on the next slide, we can also see the next stations. Thank you, Brigadier. The other stations that have increased until the 40th stations, I will not mention them as they are already available to scrutinize on these tables. On the next slide, we will be looking at robbery aggravating. The 3 crimes that are grouped there forms our trio crimes: carjacking, robbery at residential premises, and robbery at non-residential premises. After that, we will also look at robbery of cash in transit, bank robbery, and truck hijacking. Looking at the total trio crime distribution during the second quarter there, you can see in July and August, we did record a negative gap analysis. And then in terms of our current position, we are 116 cases above the previous period. The following district indicated increases, and it was Ekurhuleni district with 6%, Sedibeng 18%, and Tshwane with 9%. The 2 districts that managed to decrease trio crimes, Johannesburg 14 down and West Rand 7 down, and that at least have ensured that Gauteng province still indicated a decrease of 1.4%. Looking at robbery aggravating, the breakdown, this is where some of our problems are showing on the scoreboard. We can see with our carjacking, as highlighted in the statistics that we have looked on the first few slides. The carjackings, that is 5% up, the truck hijacking is 52%, robbery of cash in transit at 107%, and one case of the bank robbery and the 2% for house robbery. And we are still down on business robbery with that 13%. Looking at the trio crimes, the top 22 stations also feature in the national top 30 list for the second quarter. So there are 2 stations on the next slide as well that is included in this. In Gauteng, the top 40 stations, 13 stations recorded a decrease and 23 indicated an increase. The highest increase recorded was at Ivory Park with 51 counts higher, and the highest decrease was at Douglasdale with 47 counts lower. This is just the other 2, 21 and 22, Jamestown and Vosloorus, that's also part of the top 30 scoreboard. Looking at carjacking, we can see with the trend that we were constantly above the previous year in terms of the trend analysis. As soon as the lockdown have lifted, even before a level 3, we could have seen that carjacking is picking up. And carjacking is also a very sought after commodity for criminals. And as these vehicles started to take back the road and people started to work, it was opportunities for the criminals coming back for them to hijack a lot of vehicles. Looking at the districts, Ekurhuleni increased 6%, Sedibeng 42%, Tshwane 35%. The decreasing districts, Johannesburg 13% and West Rand 14%, and that left the whole of Gauteng 5% in the red. Our robbery at residential premises, during July and August, we did indicated decreases in terms of the gap analysis, but of late in September, we are above the previous year in terms of the registration of robbery at residential premises. We are 65 cases over. And the districts that have increased was Ekurhuleni 15 up, Sedibeng 32 up, West Rand 25 up, Johannesburg decreased 8% as well as Tshwane 4% down, and that left Gauteng with a 2% in the red increase. Our robbery at non-residential premises are still in the green, with the gap analysis indicating from July to September that we have decreased still compared to the previous year's quarter. The districts, all of them have decreased, with Ekurhuleni 0.6 down, Johannesburg 22 down, Sedibeng 22 down, Tshwane 7 down, West Rand 27 down, and all of Gauteng 13% down. Our robbery of cash in transit, we had 25 incidents for the reporting quarter of July to September, and it was breakdown as follows. We had 12 cross-pavement incidents, 9 vehicles attacked, and then we had merchant premises where attacks took place, 2 of them, ATM site 1, and a vehicle attack while static in the street, that 1 there. Looking at our truck hijacking, truck hijacking was a problem since the trucks started to move again. After the strictest lockdown, as soon as we started to get to level 2 already, it started to pick up. Then looking at the districts, Ekurhuleni up 41%, Johannesburg 16 up, Sedibeng 206 up, Tshwane 66 up, and the last one, West Rand 7 down. That leaves Gauteng with a 52% increase on this category. On the sexual offences, we will take a quick look at rape, sexual assault, attempted sexual offences, contact sexual offences. This is the trend chart. We can see for July and August, the gap analysis indicated a green and negative there, but of late during September, we have increased with 11 cases. Ekurhuleni district was the only district with an increase of over 2%. The other districts indicated decreases. Johannesburg 17% down, Sedibeng 14 down, Tshwane 16 down, and West Rand district 22 down, and whole of Gauteng 12% down. Looking at the breakdown of sexual offences, we can see that all the sexual offences have indicated decrease, as also indicated on the statistics before. Just want to mention that rape and sexual assault contributed 95% of the total of sexual offences as indicated there on the pie chart. You can go to the next slide. On contact-related crime, we'll quickly touch on arsons and malicious damage to property. For the 2-year comparison, looking at the gap analysis from July to September, from level 3 to level 1, we can see decreases. We are just below there with 59 cases at this stage still. And then in terms of the districts, only Sedibeng that have indicated an increase of over 5%. Ekurhuleni decreased 11%, Johannesburg 14%, Tshwane 16%, West Rand 15%, and the whole of Gauteng 13% down. This is the contact-related crime that we've also discussed in the main statistics. This is just to show the position, and there we can see the 9 cases that have increased on the arsons. We can go to the next slide. Thank you, Honourable Chair. We are looking at the contact-related crimes there. On this slide, we will see that 12 of the stations, and the other reds are on the next line there, but 12 of these stations indicated a red for the top 40 stations. We can just fly the next slide. That is the remainder of the stations that have indicated increases for the contact-related crimes. On the property-related crimes, we will be looking at burglary at residential premises, burglary at non-residential premises, theft of motor vehicle, motorcycle, theft out from a motor vehicle, as well as stock theft. That gap analysis was positive on this one. All districts have decreased. Ekurhuleni 20% down, Johannesburg 30 down, Sedibeng 20, Tshwane 25, West Rand 13, and whole Gauteng 25% down. This is a breakdown in terms of the property-related crime, looking at our burglary business premises. All of these crimes we have discussed, and I have indicated the percentages, so for brevity's sake, we can skip the slide. Looking at other serious crimes, all other thefts not mentioned elsewhere, commercial crime and shoplifting. In our other serious crime category, we can see in terms of the trend analysis that we had a positive gap analysis there. We showed decreases throughout all the months in the second quarter, except that we are moving closer to the recorded volumes that we had during the previous year. The districts decreased as follows: Ekurhuleni 12 down, Johannesburg 15, Sedibeng 8, Tshwane 13, West Rand 13, and the whole Gauteng 14% down. This is a breakdown of the other serious crimes, all the other thefts, commercial crime, shoplifting, just showing that 2.8% increase there on the commercial crime. We can go to the next slide. For the crimes detected as a result of police action, we will look at the following 4 factors: illegal possession of firearm, drug-related crimes, driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs, and sexual offences detected as a result of police action. This is the trend analysis, and this one is a negative for us as police and law enforcement, as this one indicates our level of arrest. We must remember on this one, we must now be above, because this is where we go out to do the arrest of the criminals. And we can see that we are below the arresting values of the previous quarter of 2019-2020. At least we are indicating a very steep increase in terms of these production, in terms of arrests. When we look at the different districts, we can see Ekurhuleni down with 32%, Johannesburg down 68%, Sedibeng 52%, Tshwane 67%, West Rand 29%, and the whole of Gauteng 52.7% down in terms of this production. This is just another depiction of the same picture, indicating how these crimes have decreased in terms of the different categories. On the next slide. Thank you very much, Chairperson. That was then the statistic presentation.
Thank you very much for the presentation, and I hope that the members were taking notes in order to be able to ask questions. But I must appreciate that at least in terms of the decision of the cabinet as well as the minister, of having our crime stats being released every quarter. It assists in making sure that our people are able to protect themselves and know which areas are more dangerous in our country and which areas we really need to be vigilant in terms of making sure that we protect ourselves from crimes. But it also assists in terms of growing our economy, because when people want to invest in South Africa, in our province, they'll also be informed through the release of crime statistics of what kind of investment they can make, which areas are always being targeted by criminals, and they can be then able to make an informed decision. Thank you very much for that. And let me then invite the honorable members to then make a presentation, ask questions, I'm sorry, on the presentation made by SAPS. Thank you very much, Acting Police Commissioner, for your informed presentation. Well presented, I must say. Honorable members, anyone who wants to raise his hand, you can raise your hand now. I can be able to see you, because the gadget I'm using now is able to see their hands. Can I check if there's any questions first from the members? I will be coming back to community police people who will actually also engage on what was presented. Honorable Kobas, I see your hand is up. Any other person? Member Khatebe, is your hand going to be up at any point? The Deputy Speaker, is she interested to ask questions? Okay. Honorable Kobas, please ask questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate. Thanks for the presentation. I've got two questions. The one pertaining to the carjacking, truck hijacking, and those figures that's gone up, and robbery of cash in transit. I just want to find out if we already, or do we have helicopters again to service that, and are they deployed to these cash in transit heists? And then further to that, and my last question, the crime's heavily dependent on police action for detection. You alluded to that must be lower or higher actually. And my question would be, is it because of the COVID operations that the police didn't get around to it, or is there some or other reason for that? I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Kobas. Any other person who want to ask the question? Okay. Low dummy, there's advocate, I'm not sure advocate who. I'm sorry, but I will advocate, I don't have your name, but you are recognized, so you can speak. Honorable Kobas, please put down your hand. Advocate.
Yes, it's Advocate Popedi from IPIT, Gauteng.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about the crime detected as a result of police action here. As you might be aware that IPIT is normally referred to as the police watchdog. If you look at Roman figure 4 there, they're talking about sexual offenses detected as a result of police action. And as we look on the other page here, it shows that they had a stats of about 91, 138, 141, 208, 120, minus 88, and they had 42.3% reported. And as I look into our stats, as IPIT, definitely we received less than that, which then tells me that we're still having a problem with the police reporting cases of sexual offenses against their own members to IPIT. Then I need clarity from the police regarding that as to how can we then make sure that all those cases are reported to IPIT, because definitely all those cases must be reported to IPIT within 12 hours of them knowing about those offenses. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Advocate, for your question. And I think what you have just asked links to our observation at in Tshwane, when we engage with the community about sexual offenses that take place there and that are not being properly investigated. And the perception from the community will be that the cases disappear. And you know, serious offenses can't disappear. Crime and rape can't disappear. So surely there might be something seriously wrong with how we handle such cases. But thank you very much, sir. Can I check if there is any question from CPF? CPF?
Very much, Chair.
Yeah. Yes, Chairperson of the CPF.
No, thank you very much, Chair. I just wanted to find out on the 9 stations that are gender-based violence contributors of the total 30 of the Republic. As to say, are we moving out of that? Which stations have moved out in the last quarter? Which stations have moved in? What are the challenges in terms of the gender-based violence in those cases? But also to say to the police, going forward, how do we make sure that things that are community orientated in terms of awarenesses and so forth, specifically at these particular stations, what are the plans of social crime in addressing that? I'll talk to Gauteng, obviously, to the 9 stations that are gender-based prone. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of CPF. Can I check if there's any other stakeholder who want to ask the question directed to CPF, but you also not CPF, directed to the Deputy Provincial Commissioner, as well as on where they presented on kiosk, mobile police stations, as well as crime statistics. Can I then also request that if there are no questions, we can ask SAPS and the department to respond if possible.
I'll go inside.
Chair, SAPS will respond. Can you hear me, Chair?
I can hear you, Acting Provincial Commissioner.
Can you hear me, Chair?
Ma'am, I can hear you.
Can I proceed, Chair?
Yes, you can proceed. I can hear you, ma'am.
Oh, thank you, Chair.
Yes, you can proceed. I can hear you.
Yes, I'll start with the issue of the first question where it was about, the vehicle robberies, the plans, whether SAPS is having plans to reduce vehicle robberies. Plans to reduce vehicles robberies are in place. And I must say we are having regular operations, multidisciplinary operations that are intelligence driven. And in terms of Ukai Mulao, our approach is on 5 pillar approach. where we ensure that we gather information. Crime intelligence is assisting us in gathering information. And in terms of the combat team, all the other stakeholders and the police are visible enough to conduct operations to address these vehicle-related crimes, where we include all the law enforcement officers, and we ensure that our operations are intelligence-driven, and we ensure that we man roadblocks. And when we conduct roadblocks, we ensure that we check, the vehicles, whether they are not stolen, and also the firearms, because when hijackings are being conducted, in most cases firearms is involved. It's a generator of crime. That's the reason why we're having a lot of roadblocks. And another issue, high visibility is very critical. We task our members also to be everywhere to patrol, but our patrols are also according to the CTA and the CPA. And the task team is also established. This task team is also dealing with vehicle-related crimes, so that when we arrest the suspect, in terms of the detectives, they immediately attend to these cases. And we also monitor our response time in terms of especially the hijackings of theft of motor vehicles. We ensure that we make members or station commanders to account in terms of the response time, because we want to support our victims, especially those who are hijacked, or those who the members that the victims that the vehicles were taken from them. And another thing, we've got a unit within the SAPS, the VCIU. When we conduct roadblocks, they are always with us. They profile the vehicles, ensuring that they check whether the vehicle is not stolen, and they assist us. They work together with the private sectors, the tracker. The tracker is also involved, because now when we conduct operations, as I mentioned, that all the stakeholders are part of us. So tracker is there. The security companies are also there with us when we conduct our roadblocks. So the tracker is assisting the VCIU in tracking whether the vehicles were stolen or not stolen. And in terms of the CITs, yes, we are having a challenge with the CITs, especially during this time where we are heading to festive season. But there is a task team established, a multidisciplinary task team, which includes the crime intelligence, NIU, TRT, POPs, flying squad, and also metro, traffic, private security, TSU. TSU is technical support unit from the company Fidelity company. They are working together in order for us to address these CITs. And with regard to CITs, we are also our operations becomes also intelligence driven, because we get information. We're relying on members of the communities to give us information, and we also getting information from crime intelligence, where they are also doing their own analysis to check where are these CIT happening, what time are they happening, and who's involved. And we making an impact in some of our CITs. But we are appealing also to members of the community to say they must keep on working together with the police in terms of giving us information. And like I've mentioned, that during the festive season, we are going to ensure that we're flooding the malls, because the CITs are mostly happening at the malls, even at the garages, the filling stations, so that we can be able to disturb them. Visibility is a deterrent to crime. So when we are there as police officers, and when we communicate with members of the community and other stakeholders to get information, I believe in Gauteng as a team, if with the team spirit, we'll be able to manage this CITs. That is the first question, Chairperson. And the second question was about crime detection, crime dependent on police action. And as somebody asked about sexual offenses, you know, it's positive from our side. Our members, when they are working, they arrest these ladies that are involved in prostitution and also that are involved in sex workers. So it's a positive, issue from our side to say we are arresting them. It's not against the police officers. That is the actions done by the police officers to show that we are enforcing the law. And in terms of the top 30 stations, there was a question today whether are we monitoring whether the stations are moving out of the top 30 or moving in, sustaining to be the high contributors. Yes, that is being done. There's meetings that are taking place, accountabilities that are taking place. I must say DPC policing Major General Mutombeni is monitoring the stations. He's even calling them, monitoring the deployment, ensuring that the cars are visible out there and they are at their sectors. And if there's a shortage, the station commander is communicating also with the district commissioners, and if there's a challenge also at the provincial office, then we send capacity to assist the stations so that they can move out of this top high crime stations. And in terms of the social crime prevention, the awareness with regards to the communities that are reporting the sexual offenses, there is awareness campaigns that we are doing to to educate the communities. But what we've realized, the more you educate members of the communities in terms of gender-based violence, the more people are coming to the police station to come and report these cases. And we appreciate that, because we don't want anybody to be abused. If they come and report cases, for us it's positive, because we want to satisfy our communities. Though on the other side, it can be negative, when we take the crime picture. But we appreciate the fact that when we go out conducting awareness with other role players, then when the communities are coming forth to come and open cases, then we appreciate that. Then we also communicate with NPA so that these victims must not withdraw cases. They must go to, the suspect must go to court and be charged, so that they must know that we don't tolerate crimes in Gauteng province. Thanks, Chairperson.
Now, thank you very much, Acting PC. Let me check with the stakeholders if they want to have a follow-up or ask questions that are not relevant to crime stats, probably on kiosk, the impact of kiosk as well as mobile police station on the impact of, in terms of the impact on crime prevention. Can I check with the leader of the delegation or the leader of our stakeholders, Chairperson Masilela, if there's any other issues that you want to raise that I've not invited you to ask questions on. Chairperson?
Okay. No, thank you very much, Chair of Chairs, or Chair, sorry. We all agree that the mitigation of using the kiosk as a close by but relevant one-stop shop it plays a very important role, no doubt about that. With the developments taking place in our areas, and communities, you cannot hide that the police resources and the police are stretched in terms of the service delivery. Therefore, there's no questioning as to say the kiosks and the mobile police stations plays an important role when running as a Gauteng. But you've got a problem if you have some of the issues that from the community point of view, one would say that it worries with that poor men's workmen's that this kiosk were actually manufactured. But I had a discussion at some point, Chair, with the provincial commissioner who's on leave at some point, as to say how do we address, because SAPS also has this, I would say, caravans or kiosks that are sponsored, as MEC has mentioned, but also there are little ones that they have as police, that they will normally put at the Golden Walk in Germiston, that they will normally put at Alberton Boulevard. So the problem here is that there is no doubt that if done correctly and applied, and make sure that those that are supposed to be there are making an input. CPF's role in the community, obviously with the station commander, is to make sure that these remain in good and shape. The challenge outside this meeting will say that the kiosk patrollers has to get this line of march from the local CPF, obviously, because there is a tendency of kiosk patrollers not actually adhering, and also discipline that has to happen within the perimeters of the CPF space, which is something that has happened. Hence, they come and go as they please in certain areas. But also the audit of how do we make sure that if you take Johannesburg Central, for instance, you will find that there are three types of these kiosks. You have those that are sponsored by the business with our patrollers. You have those that are on a smaller make, that are SAPS. One you'll find somewhere in Mayfair. But also you have the big ones, that the two that were actually were provided by the department. Question here is that there is a bit of a problem, because those that are sponsored by the private sector are managed differently, which might raise a question. But I don't think that it's a discussion for this platform. This platform must say, let us address the smaller issues that actually might be hindering the progress that has been started. The other day I was in Sentin, a kiosk is parked at the entrance of the police station. It does not make sense. Why would a kiosk be at the entrance of a police station? And upon inquiring, I was informed that the disc of the kiosk has expired, and the Metro Police have threatened to write tickets. Same with Johannesburg Central, where JMPD was also saying that this kiosk that is parked there by the court, Johannesburg Court, the disc has actually expired. Those are the smaller things that we must make sure that the project manager or managers that are looking after the kiosk are aware of this, but also they go and do a kiosk to kiosk kind of a setup. CPFs, I pick up that many of our chairpersons don't regard to some extent that the kiosk should be their responsibility. There is a wrong view that maybe the kiosks are not. But I can't emphasize more that the kiosk have made just the visibility of a kiosk. Sometimes it's actually helping and obviously averting a incident that could have happened. If you see that one at the Bank City, downtown Johannesburg, you will see that it's next to all the ATMs that are there, and there's been lesser and lesser incidents of those kind of crimes in that perspective. My concern here is the gender-based violence that you cannot at some point, maybe I should say the domestic violence that you cannot and this is a view that when you're asking to say, but there is a kiosk around, why didn't you report the case there? And you find that it's not capacitated in such an extent that the law enforcers, in this case we're talking about the SAPS, the JMPD or EMPD, the metros, visibility, except obviously the sign or the sticker on the kiosk. So it worries us to say that such a brilliant, good idea, it's not actually kicking all the areas that one would have actually expect to, because of some smaller hindrances. So a brilliant idea, but also now that we have General Mtombeni, maybe it's also a responsibility of you, General, to do your audit, just to say how many of this do we have in the province and how many of these are being used. And maybe when we talk about kiosk to kiosk a visit, we're also talking about you as the Deputy Provincial Commissioner Policing, so that when we talk about the kiosk at the High Court, or we talk about the kiosk at Bank City, or we talk about kiosk in Alexandra as we come in at the mall, we are talking the same language as to say what are the challenges. Talking about the movement of the kiosk, I'm sure we have dwelled much on that. I think that we all agree that we would need a better management, but we also will need to involve and make sure that within that particular sector, as it moves from time to time, but you give people a responsibility in making sure that it's taken care of, because that's another worry. It's taken care of. It's not used for other things, but specifically let the community own these kiosks. Allow the community and the CPFs to own these kiosks, and the communication part. Taxita was going through very fast, but I can't explain. You without that communication gadget and the technology, you are basically nowhere. That would be the biggest fall if you were to ask me. If you're paying Vodacom so much money, we shouldn't be finding ourselves wanting in terms of the gadget. So the audit that has to happen must not just be the project manager, it must be all the law enforcers, but also making sure that we visit all these kiosks from time to time, and in making sure that we know where actually are they, and are they functioning, are they not functioning. The discipline of the patrollers, we as a CPF, we should address that in making sure that people are not just being stipend for doing nothing. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, for your input. Let me check if there are any other stakeholders who want to make submissions as well. Any other stakeholders except CPF? Okay. From my side, what I want to raise, first on the kiosks, is the issue. I think MEC on this one, we were terribly dealt with by whoever that was that actually bidded for those kiosks. One, she didn't have a capacity. Two, the person was fronting. And I think because fronting is illegal in this country, I will request that we investigate that case of fronting. And thank you very much, MEC, for having cancelled the contract, because we have given a contract to a wrong person. And I'm wondering why people are not making noise about this one, because when corruption is committed by private sector, people keep quiet. And when it points to government, people make a lot of noise. And there's nothing wrong with making noise, but you must actually be balanced in terms of addressing the same. So I actually request as a committee that we investigate why we engaged a person that was fronting on behalf of someone, and a person who didn't even have capacity to deliver in terms of what the tender required. In terms of crime, particularly crimes committed against women and children, I think it is important for us to change the strategy. It should not be the same strategy acting PC that when dealing with rape, we deal as if it's a normal crime. When dealing with murder, we deal with it as if it's just normal crime. There's nothing normal about committing crime, but at the same time, rape is a serious crime in this country, as well as murder, but also crime committed against children. So our strategies need to change from, actually every month we need to change how we approach those cases. And the approach will be us wanting to reduce or completely eradicate crimes committed against women and children in our province. And I think at some point, when we have a summit that you are proposing, we'll then together as citizens of this province sit and agree how we deal with serious crimes. It should not only be CIT that is always prioritized if there are about 2-3 incidents of CIT on a daily basis in our province. Then we see a lot of resources and very powerful law enforcement agencies or agents being deployed in a province or in a township or in an area where this crime is happening. The same must happen with rape and murder. If women are being murdered and raped on a daily basis, surely we should actually deploy people who are able to deal with that particular crime. So PC, i-crime ayingaboni mbala, ayingaboni ubulili, but crime must actually be dealt with once and for all. And I'm concerned about us forever discussing issues of the high rate of rape in our province, the high rate of crime committed against children in our province, but I don't hear you saying we have now deployed TRT, we have deployed so-and-so who's experiencing these crimes, etc., etc. But when it is CIT, we change the approach, we deploy all sorts of people and follow up on those cases and make sure that there's a conviction, a successful convictions in those particular cases. So PC, I know that you, acting PC, I know you might not be the only one who's responsible, but Datem Tombeni is here with us as the person who's responsible for visible policing. But I think it is time that our police officers, their attitude towards such crimes are actually changed. Proper training need to be first investigated. Two, need to be implemented to make sure that the attitudes of our police are being changed. The other issue, Chair, honorable members, is I think it is also important that we really need to start highlighting which areas are actually the most dangerous areas in our province, so that we can be able to involve our communities in those areas in trying to tackle those crimes. We know unemployment is always being an issue that is raised on why crime is being committed, but I'm not sure whether unemployment can also actually lead you to rape people or kill children. You know, poverty can be the one that drives people to killing our people, killing our children, and also raping our women. But I think we really need to be informed when such presentations are done. In terms of kiosk, again, those kiosks were never meant to be CSCs. Those kiosks were meant to be deployed in areas where we're weak in terms of policing, to assist with visible policing. And of course, the same management style that is used by private sector must be used by public sector. And I'm sure the chairperson have indicated that when you go to those kiosks, the ones that are managed by private sector are properly managed, and the ones that are managed by government are not properly managed. Can we then again zoom in that area and make sure that we change the approach in terms of service delivery? But I must say, I thank you very much for your presentation, and I think it was worth it. It doesn't matter whether we've taken so many hours. Crime affects all of us on a daily basis, and I think it is proper then that we spend as much time as possible in terms of making sure that we come up with a solution, or it can be to eradicating crime in our province. Those are my comments. I want to hear the comments of the MEC, if she does have any comments before I wrap up, Chair. Honorable members. Honorable MEC?
No, nothing from my side, Chair. We appreciate the inputs and we'll definitely make sure that everything is accordingly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MEC. Your parting comments, Acting PC? Any comments, PC? Your parting comments?
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
We appreciate the inputs, Chair, and we'll make sure that we comply. And your advices, especially in terms of the training, we'll keep on training our members, and we'll keep on visiting them, because you can train, but if you don't visit them and see whether practically they're doing the right thing, so it's also not going to work. So we'll ensure that we train them, and we'll ensure that what they've learned, they're implementing it, MEC.
Thank you very much, Acting PC. I think you are the most senior person in the
Thank you,
delegation of SAPS. Yeah, I'm saying thank you very much, PC. You are the most senior person in terms of the delegation of the SAPS. I won't be allowing another person from the group to speak. Let me then take this opportunity to thank everyone present, thank the Department of Community Safety, thank the leadership of SAPS in the province, thank the leadership of CPF in the province, thank IPIT, the Independent Police Directorate, Investigating Directorate, thank the members of the media for your interest and your participation in covering this important issue. I hope that now that you are going towards Christmas celebration or festive season, we hope our people will be safe. Let's try and share as much safety tips as possible to our communities. Let's make sure that our people, particularly women and children, feel safe and are safe in our province. Your contribution will always be noticed by ourselves as citizens of this country, and where possible, we will actually criticize you if things are not going right, but we will also congratulate you when good things are actually happening. Let's increase the number of successful convictions. We want to see criminals, particularly those who commit crimes against our women and children, going behind bars. Let us be safe, and please, if I'm not going to see or hear from you between now and next year, please enjoy your festive season, enjoy your families, continue protecting us in our province. We'll see each other next year. February, we'll be having a crime summit in Gauteng, and the statistics that someone's mic is on, that the statistics that have been presented to us will then be presented at the summit. We'll try and invite all the relevant stakeholders, particularly the CPF and other analysts that deals with crime in our province, with the intention of trying to identify challenges that lead to a high crime rate in our province. We hope that we'll get experts who deals with sexual offenses, and also experts. Advocate, it's you that have a mic that is on, sir. We'll also invite experts that deals with crime committed against children, and of course those that deals with violent crime generally. That is my summary of today's agenda, honorable members. As for the committee, we'll see each other we'll hear from each other on Monday, 6 o'clock, when we consider our annual report as a committee. Thank you very much, everyone who participated. Please go well, and thank you very much, MEC, for respecting us and stay up until the end of the meeting. You are all released. Ban disconnectani mina ngikata amavote, so ngizochecka ukuthi banogcina ohamba. Bye bye. Hambani kahle. Sipho sahlelele namba.
Chairperson, thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Chairperson. We're very kind to us.
Okay, thank you very much, Sipho. SAPS, Tamayang, DP, yeah, bye-bye. Joshua M. Hamba, bye-bye. Oh, Shackleton, I wasn't aware that you're present. Tebe K, bye-bye.